So it's and the theme, it's basically an outcome of coding. So basically, when you club those codes into a categories and then you make a theme, so that's analytical reflection. Again, you should start coding whatever you think. So it should, now, what is your suggestion? You should code once you collect all your data, or you should start coding even with one transcript? What you should be doing? Yes,
Yeah,
any idea?
I think you should start with one transcript as well. Let it evolve as you're collecting
Yes.
the.
And also, it will help you in refining your interview question guide also. If you have missed out something, if you just go and read your transcript, because you don't remember actually the interview process, you should not, one very important thing, don't rely on your memory. That's said, I think 10 to 20 times in that book. Don't rely in your memory. Keep a log. Every day, whatever you are doing, keep a log of it. Like today, because I said it's you need perseverance. You're not going to do it in like 3-4 days. It takes like 1 or 2 months in whole data analysis process. So keep a log of it, because when you started on day 1 and then when you are at day 60, the things will be different and you are making a story. So we will see this like writing your own analytical memo. Keep it like keep a diary, maybe in a notepad or in a computer, in a hard copy, or if you want to put it in phone as a daily note taker. Whatever work you are doing every day, keep a note of it, because at the end of the maybe 1 month when you have to draft a manuscript, you will review each and every memos and reflection which you have written over 1 month period. So again, you don't have to be very accurate in the beginning. Whatever raw code you just see, you give a name to it and move forward. And again, you have to get your thoughts documented in some or the other way. Like he has suggested, like, you should think about your research while taking bath, while driving, while doing any work. Keep on thinking about that coding and research questions. And then if something clicks to your mind, you should always try to maybe record it. So what we do many times, I said that I write it to my own, because in WhatsApp you will see that there is a feature, then you can message to yourself. So what I do, all important these memos which I find like I might forget it, I just put that audio on, and when you put that audio on, it will write in a recorded format. Means it will keep on typing, and then I do it and I send it to myself. That's because we always have phone with ourselves. Other thing like diary and all, maybe all the time we are not carrying it. So you should have something in your phone so that you can record your thought if it came anytime during your other work also. Now coming to the two types of coding, the major type, one is the lumper coding and the other is the splitter coding. So lumper coding is also known as the macro code. That means very big paragraph you replace with a single word or short phrase. And splitting is basically you split it into many sentences and you code all those. Like this is one example, again taken from Saldana. Yes, so this was the excerpt from, I think, a mother. Yes, so can someone read this? Yeah, any volunteer?
Ma'am, can I?
Yeah, please, Dr. Nitin. Yeah.
Lumper coding. I am not telling you to do this to depress you or scare you, but it was a reality for me. I thought I was so ready for this population because I had thought of the groups of kids. But this is such a unique situation, the inner city school. No, I should take that back. It's not as much of a unique situation anymore. There are more and more schools that are running into inner city schools. I really had to learn about the kids. I had to learn the language, gang signals, what music allowed, what t-shirts they could wear on certain days and not on other days. There was just a lot to learn that I had never even thought about. Reference Saldana.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nitin. So you can see if I need to do a lumper coding means I will replace this whole paragraph with one word. And maybe the author says that he has given this term like a lot to learn. Maybe everything will not be covered, but a meaning out of this paragraph is like a lot to learn. Okay. Now, if you have to do a splitting coding, split coding means the same sentence, the same paragraph, you will split it into many sentences and have more codes. Like if you just see first the yellow colored one, I'm not telling you to do this to depress you or scare you, but it was a reality for me. So if I want to code it, I have coded like a reality for me. So just one word. Then second sentence is like, I thought I was so ready for this population because I had thought of the group of kids. Because maybe as a school teacher, she thought that it was easy for her. Next is, the author has quoted is, I thought I was ready. Then the next, again, it was a unique situation, the inner city school. So all the school situation, he has written it like a unique situation. So next coding, he has written like there are more and more schools that are running into inner city schools. So more inner city schools. And similarly, these last three lines, I had to learn the language, gang signals and all t-shirts color and all. So he has coded it like a had to learn a lot. So this is example of splitter coding, means that paragraph, he has splitted it into every sentences and all those sentences he has given it a code. So then what should you do? Should you be using a splitting coding or should you be using a lumper coding? Again, what Saldana, there are ways like Charmas is one of the very famous person who has written a lot about this grounded theory and coding. So what he suggests that as a novice researcher, rather than doing lumper coding, you should do a splitting coding. Why? Then you will not, you will be grounded in the data. Means you are seeing each and every data and you will not put your own biases in between those data. So that's why he suggests. But again, you have to see, like if something can be replaced, you can use a mix of lumper and splitting coding. If something you can capture the essence, 4-5 sentences into few words without changing the meaning, you can use the lumper coding. Or else, if you find that it's difficult for you to replace one paragraph with few words or sentences, then you can use a splitting coding. As a beginner, you can start with the splitting coda, and then the more you get the experience, you can use a lumper coding. Now, how many codes you should have? So generally, they say that you should code only those ideas and sentences which are in line with your research question or the central phenomena. So you should code the most essential part of the data corpus, code as a combination, like they also suggest as a combination of lumper and splitter. So you should have 50 to 300, in between 50 to 300 codes. They say that more than 300 you cannot manage with those many codes. And you have to select the codes repeatedly, because then again, after 3, 4, 5 transcript, you will see that already codes which you have made, your quote will fall into that. And then you can subsume, you can combine smaller code to make a bigger or broader code. And this is very important. Keep on writing analytical memo. We will show you what an analytical memo is. And you have to repeat this coding cycle. Coding cycle means there are, again, I said, you are rarely correct in the first time coding, first cycle. So you should repeat this process like 1 or 2 times, so that then you will see that your codes start getting refined. So again, there are 2 types of coding cycle, first cycle coding method and the second cycle coding methods. The coding methods are a little different. Generally, we use second cycle coding method for interpretive research design, like interpretive phenomenology or interpretive grounded theory. Grounded theory is always interpretive. So we use mostly the second cycle coding method for interpretive research design. Most used, there are many. Again, I said that Saldana has given 32 types of coding method, but the most commonly used coding method in health, we have identified 7, 8 methods. So the first is your attribute coding. We'll learn these one by one. The second is your descriptive coding, emotion coding, in vivo coding, magnitude coding, narrative coding, and process coding. And there's a causation coding also. So these 8 types of coding method we are telling you. If you wish that there are other like versus coding and then focused and selective, there are many types of coding method. If you have got time, then you can go through that book. But if not, at least you can learn these coding methods so that you can start your work. So the first type of coding is the attribute coding. So what is an attribute coding? Basically, whatever you code as an attribute of a person, like Dr. Abhishek was saying in the beginning, that you should have like socio-demographic status of the person, the occupation. So all those things, wherever, like if you're taking school children, their class in which they read, if you are taking the relatives, then the relationship with the primary informant. So those things you can, like research site, urban versus rural, which district, which PHC, like PHC versus the tertiary care hospital. So these you can take it, you code it as an attribute coding. Generally, you don't use to code this as analysis, but whenever you quote a sentence, in the paragraph, you write that this is said by whom. Was this a urban person, a doctor, or a lab technician, or even if it's a doctor, is he an orthopedic surgeon or a gynecologist? So because you don't write the name. So these identifier help the audience and you also to determine like who is saying this. So this is the attribute coding. So attribute coding is the setting or context code or the socio-demographic code, and usually it is in the beginning of the data set. We will see in the beginning of the data set, especially in the QDO also, you make a sheet, enter all those fields, we'll do this, and then it automatically comes when you select that particular code or make a code. So it is basic descriptive information such as the field work setting like school name, city, participant characteristics, and it is applicable for all qualitative studies. So all qualitative studies should have these attribute coding. Like it is, you can see here, like this also example is given in Saldana, like participant is a very 18-year age, studying in 12th grade, of male gender. Let me correct this. Sorry, this male is. And then sexual orientation is heterosexual, belonging to a lower middle social class. And I took in the form of a interview. So this was attribute coding. Second is the descriptive coding. Whenever you replace 2-3 sentences with some descriptive word, it is known as the descriptive coding. It is also very commonly used coding method. So you assign label to your data and summarize it in the form of a noun, most commonly as a short phrase. Like this is example of descriptive coding. One first sentence like my son Barry went through really tough time. Okay, this is, I think one has to read this. Yes. Can someone read this?
Out of pocket expenditure.
Yes, madam, I can. Sure. I'm audible?
Yeah, Dr. Saurabh.
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
Dr. Saurabh, you are audible.
This is an example of descriptive coding. My son, Barry, went through a really tough time about, probably started the end of the 5th grade and went into the 6th grade. When he was growing up in the school, he was a people pleaser and his teachers loved him to death. 2 boys in particular that he chose to try to emulate were not very good for him. They were very critical of him. They put him down all the time, and he kind of just took that and really kind of internalized it. And I think for a long time, in the time period in the 5th grade, early 6th grade, they really just kind of shunned him to altogether. So his network, as he knew, it was gone.
Thank you, Dr. Saurabh. So you can see this, in this case, the first one, my son Barry went through a really tough time, which probably started at end of 5th grade. So this is a wrong code here. It is writing like mother, because it is a mother who is writing this. So it is a mother-son relationship. The second one was like when he was growing up in school. So this, like author has given this whole as a bad role models, one of the descriptive coding method. So we will learn more about descriptive coding method, and you will also see in your own transcript when you will make it, you will have a lot of description. Third is the emotion coding. So whatever is there as an emotion in your transcript, that is known as the emotion coding. Means happy, sad, depressed or elated, any excitement, any sentiments. So that is known as the emotional coding. So like hopelessness, anxiety, denial, acceptance, even hopeful, those positive. Remember in the beginning we did that positive and negative emotions. So anything related to emotions, you can, if you code that, it is known as the emotion coding. So emotion coding again, emotion coding, it's the author, it's the researcher who is labeling the emotion. So basically, you are inferring that as a part of emotion, because generally many times, and for that, you many times you write like verbatim, like the participant started crying or something like that in the bracket, or the participant was he was speechless for a few minutes when he was saying this. So you can also code that as emotional coding. It might not come as a word in your coding, but when you are listening to the person, or when you are taking the interview, that time also when you are taking the notes or in the bracket, you can write when you make the transcript. So that's why we say that try to make the transcript same day or maximum within next 2 days. Otherwise, you will forget what emotional part he has said. So it is basically, maybe the researcher also infer what is a emotional code. So you have to justify your role. Even if you are classifying the participant's viewpoint as an emotional code, then it is good. So either participant are saying that they are hopeless, or you are finding a hopelessness in their verbatim. Then also you can classify it. Like we'll see one example of many example of emotional coding. I'll just demonstrate of the filariasis article which we have done as a qualitative descriptive study. So I'll show you there how we have classified the emotional coding. And then you can also take their viewpoint, means either are the participant are saying that they are hopeless, or you are saying that they are hopeless. Again, one code for you. You have to guess the movie.
Houseful.
Yes, houseful. Good. You will be a very good coder. I think these slides we have formulated earlier. Yes, you can try giving names to these cartoon characters. Yeah, can you type in the chat box? Doraemon, Chota Bheem. Ekta is writing. Chota Bheem and Doraemon. And what about others? Peppa Pig, Priyanka is writing. Yes. Audrey and Cockroach. Pinky. Pinky is Dora. Okay. Good. And Krishna. Yes. Dr. Dhanya. So all list completed. So now coming to fourth type of coding. So we did attribute coding. Attribute coding means socio-demographic characteristics and the other attribute. That is essential for all qualitative methods. Second was your descriptive coding. When you replace the description as a description, a short phrase or words. Third type was emotional coding. When you code the emotions like hopelessness, hopefulness, happiness, sorrow, depression, and those things. And then your fourth is your in vivo coding. So in vivo coding is a very commonly type of coding method. It is also applicable for all type of qualitatives. And there is a software also in vivo, which is on this concept of in vivo, means you should take some phrase or words from the verbatim and code it. That's the in vivo coding. So basically you code using the participants' own words, and they are like if they deny treatment or no mercy, too expensive, that we'll see. So this is one example of in vivo coding. The same excerpt which was just read in the first thing, like my son Barry went through a really tough time. So he has just taken a tough time. I said like you have to take few words from that sentence or that sentence itself. So he has taken tough time from this and coded it as tough time. Secondly, this one, like two boys in particular that he chose, tried to emulate, put him down. So I have like, not I, it's the Sultana's example which I have taken. So the way to put this en vivo is the put him down. Again, in this sentence, when he was growing up, he was a people pleaser. So he was he coded as people pleaser. And this fourth one was like when they really kind of just shunned him altogether. So shunned him. So you can see like many times you say that in grounded theory or in many of the qualitative analysis, you should remain as close to the data. So if you do the en vivo coding, at least you are using the participant's own word to, express their feeling. So they say that you should use this en vivo coding quite a lot time because then you are grounded in the data. You are not moving away from the data. Because if you give for all the sentences, the descriptive coding or emotional coding and the Lampa coding, then you are moving a kind of away from the data. So using the en vivo code keeps you grounded in the data. So that's why especially for the grounded theory, and like we always use because it is very easy for a novice researcher or for a coder who's just beginning his journey. If you don't find any word, you can just pick the few words or phrases from the participant's verbatim and put it like a code. Then you can refine the code. Means, yes?
Yeah, I have a question here. See, this is very subjective as to what I'm choosing. For example, the third one here, the third paragraph, they put him down in that
Yes.
third yellow. So, whereas if I was doing it, I would have probably picked up work critical of him. So, I'm just trying to understand if at all there's a difference in the opinion of what we're selecting at this stage.
No.
Does it
It is
affect
up
the
to you.
interpretation later?
It is up to you. Whatever you
Okay.
think that it is important, again, it should be in line with your central phenomena. So if you
Right.
are
So,
doing
it should
something,
not matter much.
no, not at all.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
So it is, en vivo coding is helpful when we are very early in the phase of analysis, when we don't have much of the selection of words or phrases. Then you can start with en vivo, took some phrase of it and code it. And when we are still deciding what to code, then also you can keep on coding using en vivo code. And especially if like as a beginner, if I don't know what name to be given to my codes, I can straight away use en vivo coding. And this is a good idea to start with en vivo coding because again, you are grounded in the data. The next fifth type of coding method is the process coding. So process coding is like when you it's like a action coding. So whenever you put that word ing, like doing something, it's like action. So like walking, checking reports, hospitalization, helping, any process, it is known as the process coding. So like in this example of process coding, if you add this word ing, like pleasing people, internalizing rejection, or losing your network. So you can see it's a process. So it is known as the process coding. Next comes the magnitude coding. So whenever like they say that I am very hopeful or I strongly oppose this. So all these words like strongly, moderately, very high, very severe, in our case of filariasis project also, they have come up with a lot of magnitude coding. Like I'm very hopeless with the health system, like they are not giving medicines to us. So these types are showing the a kind of magnitude, and this is also known as the value coding. So it is very appropriate for qualitative descriptive study, and we have used this in our filariasis analysis. So if you see this, just a comparison of three styles of coding. So this is a descriptive code like student-teacher relationship or bad role models. When you do the in vivo code, it is like tough time, people pleaser, and put head down and shun him. And when you use the process code, then it is like pleasing people, internalizing rejections, and losing your network. So this is like the comparison of three codes. Now there was another code which we have learned, that is the causation coding. So this is something like causality in the quantitative analysis. There also we learn what is causal, something preceding and there's an outcome. So we say that this is a causal in association. Here also with the code, when some person is saying something before, like in our case, they said that because of the lack of getting medicine, the situation further worsened, the filariasis. So this can be like a causation coding, like because of there was no irregular supply of medication led to the worsening of symptoms. So this is, if you see such words in your sentences like because of this or therefore, and if it was not for, as a result of this, and that's why, if you see such sentences connecting these words, the two sentences, then you can try selecting the causation code. So it is basically participant, they believe that cause of this situation is because of this. So how to decide what to code? So anything related to the initial code or anything related to the central phenomena, which is interesting, surprising, or any recurrent pattern throughout the transcript, that is our code. So what should be the length of text which I can code? Again, you have seen the lumper coder, so there is no such rule. You can code a full paragraph, you can code a whole section. It is totally upon you to justify. Again, what to label? So you should label a text if it appears several times across transcript. Like in our case, this issue of medication in filariasis, it appeared several times. If it amazes you, or if it disturbs you, or if interviewers has think that it is very interesting or it is important, or if you have read this in previous literature, so everything is important. So before you begin to code, you can go for either deductive approach, you can go for inductive approach, or you can go for a mix of both inductive and deductive. So do not hesitate to code of plenty of text in the first cycle. So Dr. Saurabh is asking, yes, you can use the lumper and splitter coding together, means not in the same sentence. Also, you can use, actually later what you do, when you merge the smaller codes into broader codes, then of course you are actually replacing the split coding with a broad code. Are you getting my point? We will learn when you do your analysis, then you will learn, come to know. You start coding the sentences. When you again review your code, what you will find out that all those small codes, you can merge it to give a bigger code. So that's how you replace the small split coding with a one broad code, because it might not be possible for you to give a one word or a one sentence to a very big paragraph. Are you see, in that book also it says that our brain doesn't gather information, too much information in the first instance. So our brain is also like it, if you give a small segment of information to our brain, it processes it coherently. So that's the way of coding. If you code like a splitter, and when you review your code, I'm sure you will merge a smaller code into a broader one. So that process is easy for us if you go like a splitter. I think I have answered your question. So thumb rule for initial... My pleasure. So thumb rule for initial coding, do not think what is right or wrong. You just have to do it. I think we can skip these example and I can straight away this deductive and inductive. So have you understood these types of coding methods? Like we have discussed 8 types: attribute coding, when you give socio-demographic characteristics. Then second was one descriptive code. Third was emotional coding. Fourth was en vivo coding, when you take the words of the verbatim and code it. Then it was a magnitude coding, like I'm too depressed, I'm too happy, I'm very sad. So these are the magnitude coding, which is also known as the and then there's a process coding. When you add word ing, then it is a process coding. And then it was a causation coding, like something is leading to the other thing. It was a causation coding. So these are the main coding method. I think we can skip this. Inductive and deductive coding, I'll just explain. So deductive coding is when you have got a framework. Already you have got a framework. You decide with the prior codes and then you start putting that particular code into that code. That is known as the deductive. And inductive is like you start from the scratch and you start coding it and then you make a category. So that is the inductive coding. Many times you start as deductive and then you become inductive also. So hybrid approach is also there. These processes, I think, okay, this is one few. What is this? What is the name of this movie? Anyone? Only 22 people are there. Yes? Please guess the name of the movie. This is alarm used for?
Wake up set.
Yeah, true. Good. Yeah, I can leave this song. Okay, so I have to create this. No, let me see the name. Okay, code book. This I may tell them in. I think grouping of code I will show you. No need to take this I can leave. I think I'll show you one transcript, how we have done. Let me show, because there are many, like 168 slides. Let me see what is important. Yes, I wanted to tell you few things. This we'll share the slide, you can see. Yes, from here I can take. So basically, whenever you merge your codes to form a category, you see that they should be distinct enough. Like in this plate, you can see that all the items are kept, but the boundaries are very intact, right? So this is the way you should keep your various categories that we'll see. Then there's another phenomena which is known as the shop talking. What is a shop talking? Basically, the Saldana and many like Creswell, they say that whenever you are planning for a qualitative study, you are doing a qualitative study, you should keep regularly talking to your peers, your friends, your relatives, your advisors regarding your study. Because many times when you articulate yourself to someone else, you get more ideas, you get more nuanced theme, you get more subtle expression of your data. So, and many times they ask provocative questions to you people, which you have not thought of. So that helps you having another angle of looking at your data. So verbal articulation with another person, it helps you in, what's going on with your data. And that way the analysis is very productive. So this should be done, which is known as the shop talking through the study. So coding framework, So from where you can have a coding framework. So we have done the literature review, literature mapping. There you have, you can gather codes which are already there. And Latika has also asked regarding the discussion, the generalizability of the finding. So if you are using a deductive framework, then definitely you can quote and generalizable, you can show that, area where your population is there and the author who has done the research using that framework, you can show you can compare and contrast the finding from that particular researcher. So if you use a prior available coding framework, then definitely you can use or you can make codes from the expert opinion also. Second cycle coding method. I think we will cover this tomorrow, second cycle coding method. Why? Because today you have to use the first cycle coding method, which you guys have done till now. Second cycle coding method we'll tell tomorrow when you know how to code and what to code. So I'll just show a process what we have done. This is the relative 3. So like this is one transcript which I am showing you from the study assessment of quality of life and barriers to basic lymphedema management in lymphatic filariasis patient, a mixed method study. Although it was a mixed method, we did not use the quantitative. So it was a qualitative. It was a descriptive qualitative. Initially, we planned for mixed method, but then we could not qualitative study. So whenever you have this transcription, you please fill this in every transcription, or you ask the person who is doing the transcript to use this format. Here you have to write the name of interviewer, name of the note taker, and name of the facilitator. So in our case, Dr. Ria, she took the interview. Dr. Bhavna was also there. Dr. Bhavna was accompanying Dr. Ria, and she was there as a note taker, and Anuradha was there as a like facilitator. So this was the date of interview, and then site of interview was the Naubatpur, which is a village, and this rural health training center, which is one of our field practice area. There we took the interview. Time was from 10 to 10:30. Transcription was done by Dr. Ria and translation was done by Dr. Bhavna. So this we have written because if you have to cross check, you can ask from these people if there is some ambiguity in meaning or something. Here in the this thing also, in the relative, it's only relative 3, but you should write like what is the relationship. So she was a sister, so I'm writing sister of the patient. Sister of the patient. And then the translation and transcription. These are some conventions which generally we use. I is the start of new utterance by the interviewer. R is by the respondent. Question mark, like if something is unidentified by the speaker, you can put question mark. W is for the word interrupted by the, if something got interrupted by the next utterance, or these are the words indicate that it was guess or unclear. If you put it like this, bracket. Capital we use when the words are spoken more loudly than others. And this bracket dash dash means it is unclear and you have omitted it by transcriber. And square bracket means that the material added by the author. Many times you write your own interpretation. Like you write the verbatim and then in the larger bracket you write like they want to say that this. And then we have given them the format.
They have used in the transcription in there, whether or not with this.
Have you used these any of these signs?
I've just used the capital in my transcript actually.
Okay.
Not the others.
At least these we generally use. Like I use the square brackets. Like
right. I didn't understand the difference between the last one and the the third last one.
Indicate this one. Indicate material omitted by author.
Yeah. Yes. I mean.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a bit lost there. So.
Just to say, this thing is material omitted by author means like this. I will write it more clearly. You can also add it like where the interviewee has asked not to take it. Interview asked to not to transcribe. Asked.
Oh, like the doctor earlier was mentioning about certain information not to be shared with his.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
You can write like dash dash dash. Then you can say that something was there, but deliberately it was, because many times what like you will not find a flow, like sentences in between you can find like something is missing. There's no flow in reading. So if dash 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 is there, means something was said, but deliberately that was omitted because the interviewee didn't want it.
So you act like a censor board there.
Yes. So this is the confidentiality statement. Like we write like it is confidential, that we write as in ethics also. It will be only accessible to the authorized person who are there in the research team, and all personal identifiers we generally remove, like name. It has been anonymized, and this is only for research purpose and not it will not affect the current and future treatment of the participant. So this was the overall interview summary. This I'm skipping. I just want to show you the. Yes, so this initially what you guys can do, you can like I took initially you can do with paper and pen also. So I'll show you like one slide where I did it with paper and pen. Like this, you can see. So you can see, you can take a printout of it. You can just mark it with some color. You can use 3-4 types of marker pens also. And then you can write in the side, like, what do you want? You like some words or your own interpretation, descriptive or something like that. And in the down and here you can write your analytical memo. I have not analytical memo. Have I told you what is that? Basically, analytical memo is whatever your reflection when you read that, and it is like a dumping ground of your brain. That's what Saldana says. So it is the dumping ground. So I'll just show you. This is you can see. I will start from like interviewer as a respondent. It is saying, can you tell me about when she had this illness? How did you first find out? So the respondent is saying, like, it is the relative, sister of the patient who is suffering from filariasis, that when I called her on phone, she sounded so weak and tired. I knew something was not right. She came over and I was shocked to see her in such a bad state. It was like her energy has just drained away. She looked so different. So I was shocked. So this is a which type of coding? I was shocked to see her in such bad state. So this shock is like it is an emotional coding. Yes, but I just like maybe if I just wanted to transcribe this, so you can see code this. I have coded this sentence. She sounded so weak and tired. So maybe I have used this patient condition, which is a descriptive coding. Then again, I come here. Her energy had just drained away. She looked so different. So I'm writing like impact on physical state. It is again a descriptive coding. Then again, I'll go down. The interviewer is asking what kind of difficulty was she facing. So respondent is saying it was very hard for her to stand or even sit for long. So this I have coded like difficulty in activity of daily living. Again, this sentence, not even from one room to another, she couldn't move. So I have just written like the pain and lack of mobility. This is like a kind of like I'm writing my reflection also, that it is not only affecting her physically, but also causing a significant distress to the caregiver. Again, if you come down, here I am written that her legs were swollen and heavy, like they were filled with water. So I have written this like it's very, this they were filled with water. So this is like a metaphor coding also. Metaphor coding means like it is giving a metaphor like filled with water. So that's what he has written, and these are like clinical signs and symptoms. So I have written like clinical signs. Again, she could barely walk. I have never seen her like this before. So I have probably coded this as very bad. Again, magnitude coding. So if you come down, again you can see this. I was restless. So respondent is saying that she has got worries for pain. And here I am writing the analytical memo. I have never seen her like this before. So here I have written my analytical memo. So analytical memo is basically my reflection. And it is important whenever you code something, you should write what you are thinking. So I have written, I can feel the concern with which the relative was feeling towards the patient. Seeing someone so near and dear in this situation feels like something has happened to you. You start feeling their pain, their suffering, and desire to help them one or the other way so that they can get out of this. So this is like my analytical memo, this thing which I have written here. In the QDA, there is a place where you can write your memo. Again, here I have come. She's saying, what if she can't recover? I have never felt so anxious seeing her like that. So this is again a feeling of hopelessness. You can see. And this is like a emotional coding because hopelessness is there. Again, feeling heavy. She's writing like it was like a weight sitting on my chest. It is again like feeling heavy. It is again a metaphor code. It is giving a metaphor to this whole sentence. Again, then she's writing that when did you decide to seek treatment for her? Then the respondent is saying that we did not wait long. We took her to Dr. Shambhu first because he is a well-known and trusted in our area. And then when she didn't improve much, we went to AIMS. She came to AIMS also. And we were desperate to find something that could help her But even there, the medicines didn't seem to make a big difference. So again, I have coded it like perception of early health seeking. She thought that she has sought the health seeking behavior very fast. And here also I have written like feeling of no relief for medication from doctors or hospital. And here I am writing my analytical memo that the relative expresses how, despite visiting two healthcare provider, that too one like AIMS, the patient condition hasn't improved. The relative sense of urgency and hope for a solution, but the repeated failure of treatment was led to hopelessness. And especially you will see that I have written like there is a gap between the patient expectations and reality of medicine effect. In context of Bihar, I especially feel that people expect a lot from medicine. That is my own experience. That in Bihar, if you talk to someone, they think that you don't need to practice any of the lifestyle changes. And if you eat one medicine, everything will be okay. So, like they will not walk, even if you preach something to a non NCD clinic patient that you should walk 30 minutes every day, you should not smoke, or you should like curtail on your alcohol or on your dietary, modify the dietary habit. They don't want to listen those things. They say डॉक्टर साहब बस एक कोई गोली दे दीजिए जिससे ये चीज ठीक हो जाए. So they believe more in medicine. Even for obesity, people come and say that can't you give some medicine so that there's a weight loss. So they don't want to exercise or do the dietary change. So this is my own perception. So that's why I've written that I feel that she's written that medicine didn't seem to make big difference. That means they expect that medicine should work should work for them in all the context. So that's the my reflection probably. And then if you come down, so here I am like feeling of stagnation. She's writing like saying that she's more dependent on me now. She needs help with almost everything. So I'm writing that a caregiver responsibility. It is again a descriptive code, patient to understand. Now, in the analysis, you have to write like what all coding methods use. If you go through the article, you will see that we have written that we have used the descriptive code, magnitude code, and vivo code. Those type of coding methods we have used. So similarly, you should know whenever you are classifying which type of emotional or what magnitude code you are using. So this was just an example. So I hope it is clear. These things you can see. So ideally what you should do, you should first do a manual coding on 1 or 2 transcript, because then you are familiar what type of codes are generally coming. So generally you will see that in our case, it was basically we have identified three themes and 15 categories. If you go through this article, this was the article. So I'll just show. We have taken, see, from only 10 participants, 4 patients, 3 caregiver, and 2 healthcare worker. One Asha and the other, I think, Anganwadi, and one Asha and one block health manager. Okay. And you can see here, you write the role of authors also. Like coding process, these are the short names of authors. They did what all work they did. And then we have given the coding template and code book also. So that this you have to share also as additional files. And then if you see the result, this is just like made with the help of this is a thematic map, you can say. Like we have identified 3 themes like inherent nature of disease. Then the patient, it is a very like, you can say very rough, not a very refined code, like only the inherent nature of disease, the patient related factor, and health system related factors. And in that also, like in health system, no financial, this health system related factor, we have tried to triangulate the response. Triangulate means here you will see, I will show you one of the theme. And here you can see we have given the content analysis where we have given that particular code came how many times. So percentage of all those total codes. And if you see down, I'll show you one. Seasonal factor, patient related, health system. Yes, low adherence. So this you can see there was a theme of low adherence to medication. So all these three people, they have said this. This is known as the triangulation. Like a patient who is a homemaker, she is saying that I was taking another medication. How could I take another? When they gave medicine, I thought I will take it, but in same night I got fever and chills, so she didn't take. Similarly, the other person who is a caregiver and a vegetable seller, he is saying that he doesn't listen. He says that medicine doesn't work, taking only those medicines from private work. That means he doesn't believe in government medicines also. He thinks that the medicine which he gets from private, that is good. Again, the healthcare worker, Asha, who used to give the medication during the mass drug administration, she is saying that when I meet those people, I ask them whether they took the drug or not. Few reply yes, while the others say no. Most people don't take it in front of me, and I don't know what they did with the drug. So this low adherence, you can see, once you start making all the transcript, then you try to put all those codes. So these are known as the codes in the same code of low adherence. So when you get something of any code where you get the triangulation from the people, then definitely you should keep those codes. So this is how you should do the coding process. So have you understood? Dr. Tapobrata is writing, then in my transcript symbol would be dash 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 instead. Okay, that's okay, Dr. Tapobrata. It's for you only, even if, because you are the one who will do the analysis. So that's okay. So if you have understood, then I think there are more to say. We thought initially that we will cover the QDA minor, but I think that today you should do the manual coding. We will send you, will you send?
Assignment.
Okay. So I think we are compiling it and probably, okay, compile. We have compiled it and we'll share the.
Only सिर्फ एक भेजेंगे करने के लिए बाकी कल.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Dr. Shamshad is saying that he will send one transcript. One transcript.
No, we've all shared ours, right? We are supposed to be working on those, or
हम सब भेज रहे हैं, instructions सारे भेज देंगे अभी.
Achha, okay, we will send the instructions. We are sharing all the transcripts, so you can choose what you have sent, or you can choose to work on your own transcript.
or we can choose to work on multiple, right? I can choose others as well, other transcripts as well,
If
just
you
to
have-
get a hands on.
Yeah,
Okay,
sure.
all right. And this time we are supposed to do the first cycle coding as
Yes, first cycle. All those methods which you have seen, like 8 types, try
Right.
to have a diverse way
Right.
of coding.
So Dr. Shamshad will be sharing that presentation as well, right? Because I haven't.
Yeah, presentation, recording, everything will be with
Because
you.
since Dr. Saldana has said, don't rely on your memory, I tend to forget now more often. So I'll
No,
need
we
the.
all.
It is in
It is in Drive also, but the recording we will share. But PPT is in Drive,
No,
no?
we are putting in.
Okay, we are putting in Drive.
Okay, I'll take it from the drive. Okay, all right. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
So I think any question?
Yes, ma'am, I have a doubt actually.
Yes, Dr. Latika.
Ma'am, since over here in this manuscript you have used attribute in vivo process, descriptive, emotion, and holistic type of coding. So when you are saying that we need to club it, you are saying it ki whichever are coded as emotion, we can club that, and as descriptive we can club that, or
No. It is only the type of coding. You don't club descriptive, and emotion together. No, it is not like that.
okay,
Means
so this is just to recognize that you have done this type of coding.
that means you are identifying the various sentiments in if you know that something of emotional coding exists, then you will try to pick up emotions from your transcript.
Right.
Yeah,
Because
I didn't say that you can club only
No.
similar. No, not at all.
We'll see.
in fact, you have quantified. In fact, you have quantified the types later. So many were descriptive. Previously you showed the document. In fact,
It
you
is
have.
yes.
That
It is
is
only,
based on coding, I think.
yes. Type of coding is only you need. Then your eyes, if you know that these many types exist, then your eyes will catch those phrases, keeping that particular code in mind. Okay, so that's why I have put those types, and the Word document also I will share with you people, which I was just showing you. So you can see like just as a, because in analysis you have to write like what all coding methods you have to write. Like in the statistical analysis plan, you write now that you are giving
Yes.
descriptive as mean, median, and then you applied like a pair t-test or independent
Right.
sample t-test. But in qualitative, what will you write? So generally you write the type of coding which you have used. So you may write that in your whole this thing, you have used like 7, 8 types or 5 types or 2 types. You can write like I have used only in vivo coding. That is also
Okay.
up to you. So it is only to clarify like which all type. Again, it doesn't have any relationship in making category or theme or there to you club it. But generally what will happen that when you know the emotional coding, like this was one
Hmm.
emotional code, like
Yeah,
this
exactly.
picked as a form of title.
Hmm.
It was showing the frustration of the caregiver. Like whenever I
Hmm.
tell her to wear slippers, she turns a deaf ear. So she
Correct.
said gradually later also, like I don't know, I am in a very saddened state that she's not listening, and I have got so much of responsibility. In spite, how should I make her realize that she should wear, these things? So that was one a type of sentiment. So that we picked up as a title. In fact, one of the reviewers suggested. Initially, our title was something different. So one of the
Okay.
reviewers suggested that instead of that, you should pick this sentence. And then we thought like, okay, yes, it's right. And then
Hmm.
we have picked up this sentence as a in the form of a title.
Okay, ma'am. So when you showed us that plate thing, right? जहाँ पे all
Yes, yes,
different items are kept in different places, and there's some clear differentiation between them. So
yeah,
what are you referring to in that exactly? In when you think of a transcript, how
yes.
are you, what are you clubbing together?
So basically, there we are clubbing. Okay, in this case, category. Oh, that you will see now. I'm showing you this plate you are talking of. Let me.
Yeah.
So there we are clubbing the thing which are coming like here you can see. Let me show that article. Then you will come to know. See, if you see this, here I am clubbing all those like, see, hopelessness from not getting cured. So I may code here the health system, the factors which she has taking it like I'm not getting cured. I have gone to this private practitioners and there was medicine are not working. So these are the patient related factors. So it is not necessary that I will code club only emotional thing. Again, you can
Hmm.
see here that there's one more thing like low adherence. So low adherence, if you see the code since we have not given, but you can see the categories. Category I have written like psychosocial difficulty, not maintaining personal hygiene, low health seeking behavior or of modern medicine. So when I'll show you the exact coding in QDA minor, and when we will club them together, then you will come to know more regarding this process, how to club this. So all the individual small codes, you can club it and give a broader name to it. That is known as the category.
Right. Okay.
It is not related to the type of coding method. Mind
हाँ
it.
ठीक है ठीक है yeah
Both are separate.
okay ma'am
Means in one category, you might have a both combination of all the 6 codes, descriptive, because attribute will be everywhere. So it can be in vivo, descriptive, process, everything can be clubbed together, making one category.
correct ma'am got it
Okay. Yeah.
thank you
The more we will learn the analysis, today it's just the sensitization of the coding process, categories, and theme. The more we will move ahead in analysis, I think things will get clearer.
and ma'am one more like thought मतलब, I've learned in our college. I mean,
Mhm.
something we have also done some kind of qualitative research. So
Mhm.
there, over here, you have this table, right? Content analysis of categories, and you have given it, you quantified it using number of times that theme has appeared in your transcripts.
Mhm.
right? What we have done is, after creating that chart that you've made, na, categories and themes,
Mhm.
we have given them a rating, like but that is subjective to the researcher himself, of the PI basically.
Mhm.
They tell that the how much was the magnitude of it, and based on that, like 5 stars में से कि 3 stars इसको मिलने चाहिए कैटेगरी को, and that was the impact of this category, something like this. So like
But that rating was based on what criteria?
uh, actually for different questions we were making different graphs. It was not just one compiled
Because it was
chart.
subjective to the PI's discretion. The
Maybe
question
that is
was
another way.
subjective.
That's why I say there are like there's no guideline. The
There's
way
no
you want,
guideline.
it's like a
Absolutely.
dish, preparing a
Yes.
dish. So
Yes.
whatever like you want to make out of those ingredients, you can present it. There's no rough guideline. And sorry, there's no strict guideline. Everything is it's the researcher's discretion or choice. So that can be done. He must have given some reference why he did so. That's maybe her or his choice.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so everything is right. In qualitative, there is no right wrong. It's your choice. You are free to venture out. You are free to, and again, you have to go by what journal requirement is wherever you are submitting. So many times they help you in modifying the your manuscript.
Right.
Okay, then if it is okay, then shall we close today's meeting?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much.
Okay, so thank you everyone. So tomorrow
you.
we are again going to meet at 2. And please, all of you, please complete the process of initial first cycle coding method.
Yes,
We are
sure.
sharing. Okay.
Thank you once again. Bye-bye.